Hello everyone, Barb here from barbaderholt.closetomyheart.com. Today we are going to work on a card. It's a spinner card using the card front spinner thin cut. This is available in our core catalog. It looks like this. And when you get the directions, the packaging will show you that to make the card you need one of these, and it says 2 of these. So it tells you how many you need to cut out. And this is what the thin cuts look like. And I was inspired because of this set. This is a companion stamp and thin cuts set called Desserts a la Whirl. And this is meant to go with that particular thin cut set. I am also going to use this stamp set. This is also a companion stamp set. It was called Rainbow Wishes. This was the gist of it. And on this set is this teeny tiny little spin me sentiment, which works perfectly to let people know what they're supposed to do with the stamp set and with the card when they get it. Okay, I went ahead and I cut stuff ahead of time. So I have a card base. This is that front part, that panel. This is the big spinny wheel that we'll stamp our stuff on. And then these are the 2 little circles that you need to make the mechanism work. I cut 3 of these little frames. These frame the little circle or the little place where your words will show up in there. And then I did do an ice cream cone and a cupcake. And then you also need a little brad. Now I had this in my stash. We do sell brads. They're not too expensive and you get a whole bunch of them. So you need that to make the mechanism work. So I'm going to set those aside so I don't lose them. The first thing you need to do is get this ready to go. And I took a pencil and marked the little ticks that are impressed here. This is how we are going to make the pie pieces so that you know where to stamp your images. And I am taking a pencil and lightly drawing a line across, just like that. And we'll do that 2 more times. And this is not a step to skip. This is not a card that I feel comfortable eyeballing. This helps you line everything up so that you have a successful stamping. So just like that, and you use a ruler, whatever ruler you have, and that's what that's going to look like. It's at 6 little sections, like a pie. And now that I've got that done, I am going to erase the part of the line that goes over this outer section. There are little impressions. It's really hard to see. You can see it in person much better. But there are little dashes that divide this pie up so you know where to stamp your images. Well, I need to stamp that itty bitty baby little spin me out here. So I've got some black ink, and what I'm going to do is stamp the spin me and continue erasing. Okay, I've got all my spin me's done. Now, I used clover paper, so I'm going to use clover ink to stamp my sentiments. And I went through and picked different sentiments. And I know I'm going to get my head in the way, and I apologize, but I want to get this. You want to stamp it in between this little line and that little line that are made out of those dashed impressions. those all stamped in their little segments. Now we take the eraser again and erase all of those lines. We do not need those anymore. Those were just to help us line up our stamping in those little pie pieces, our wedges. And more here. There we go. That shouldn't show. Woo, getting crazy. So there we go. That part won't show anyway, so we'll be fine. In fact, what I'm going to do is take my little brad that I just dropped and do not see. Oh no, oh no, where did it go? Yikes. Well, I have another. Here we go. I can use a black one, that'll be fine. Slippery little things. So you put the brad through the hole, then you take this and, oh, there it is, that other brad. You poke it through the hole that's in the middle of this bigger piece, and then you take your other little circle, and you're making a little sandwich, and open up the prongs on the brad. And right now I'm going to take some 3D foam. I don't know that it is required to use 3D foam to do these. I find that it works better if you use some 3D foam. So whatever kind of 3D foam you like to use should be fine. And you put it on that top little circle that spins, flip it over, and you're going to put it on that little circle on the back side. Got the dropsies today. Oh, we're already at almost 10 minutes. Yikes. May have to do some editing. You want to make sure your foam is on that little circle. Don't get it out there or it will stick to the outer circle and your spinner won't spin. Okay, so we've got this kind of ready to go. Now we're going to need to start working on our front panel. And first thing I want to do is take the black ink and stamp happy and birthday. I'm getting my head in the way here. Good. And the next thing I'm going to do, there's this cute little set of bubbles, and I'm going to use the clover and do some little bubbles right up there, just one little set of bubbles. And then there are these little, we call them jimmies here. They're little shaker bits that you put on cupcakes and different things. And I am going to do a few in these 3 colors. I'm going to do some there. I'm going to do some over here. And then I'll do some down here at the bottom. We got that. We can close that one up, and we'll use some green apple. Same thing, just put a few just to add some different colors of these. I'm keeping it monochromatic, if you will. You could certainly do this in rainbow colors or any color that you want. I have a couple of examples. I'll show you when we're done putting this one together. So that was green apple. Then I thought evergreen might look nice. The other thing, this would look good if someone has a team colors they really like. It might look good for that. School colors. Be kind of fun to make this card as a graduation card with the school colors of the graduate, either where they're going to go to college or where they just graduated high school. I think that would be fun. So I've got all of my little Jimmy stamped on there. The next thing I'm going to do is take my glue, and I cut out 3 of these little frames. You don't have to have 3. You can do 1. 1 is fine. 1 is good enough. But I liked how the stack of 3 looked. I liked the dimension that provided, and I thought that it drew your attention to that little sentiment box a little more by stacking them up. And they're pretty small, so it's not a ton of paper. In fact, it's a good way to use up little scraps. So then we take this after you have them all stacked together, and you line it up with this little guy, and you get him lined up on there, just like that. Okay, the next thing I have, there's a cupcake, and I picked the ice cream cone, and I used, let me see, this is the gold brown blend, tri-blend marker that we have, and this one is the gold yellow blend. This is the alpine green blend, and this is the light green blend. This is what I used to color all of these. I am going to spare you having to watch me do that. I did it already. And I am going to take my glue and glue these down. Just like that. And I completely copied this idea from our new May-June catalog. I did not think of this myself. I just saw it, thought it was adorable, and copied it. Next thing we need to do then is remove the backing off of the pop-up adhesive. And you line up your word in here, and you can see those little, you can see where the lines were and those little dashed lines, and you get it lined up, and you check to make sure your little spin me is sticking out, and give it a little press, and it spins. And everything seems to show up nicely. Flip it over. Take some more of your foam tape, and you put it on that outer part, this, what is the front panel here. Do not stick any on this circle here, just on the outsides of this. And you have to double it up because you've got a layer here and the other layer under here, so you need to double this layer up. I usually will go around and get a couple down, and then you can just lay this right on top and take your scissors and trim it off just like that. That's what I find to be the easiest way to get them to be the same size. And we can use this big long piece here. And I am going to stick a couple of smaller pieces to fill in this spot so it doesn't sag. And again, we need to pull that backing off and stick your other adhesive right on there. Again, you pull the backing off and then stick your next. I'm going to sort of eyeball that. And then you stick the sticky side down to the sticky side down. And here we go. This is a little long, so I'm going to trim it off. And I just take this little extra piece and stick it back on my big thing of foam tape. That's something that I bought, I don't know, on eBay or something, or on Amazon at some point. I like that monster roll. My husband uses it sometimes. Okay, so we've got this going. And I have a card base that I am using up some of my, I think it's Stampin' Up! Stash of cardstock to make card bases. Trying to be better about using things up. So that's what I'm doing. Pull all that backing off. And you wouldn't have to do all of this. If you want to glue it down more flush, I think you can. It just doesn't seem to spin as nice. I find that it's more difficult. Okay, so we've got that going on. My last bit of fun is to take clear shimmer brush and I run it around this little frame. Throw some on the ice cream cone. And then I just do a little bit of pushing, fill in the holes with the bubbles, do some pushes over the top of the sprinkles. And that's it. That's all she wrote. So there you go, and you can see, and it, because it's popped up, it's easier to get your finger onto there and get those the wheel to spin. So here's a green one. Here is a red one. This is the first one that I did. And then here's a blue one. And then I also did one, but instead of white plain paper, I used some of our foil paper. This is the silver foil paper. And then this flower die that we have. Oh, I wonder if I have that nearby. I might. I just got this. This is in the Clo catalog. This is it. Isn't that sweet? I used our Bluebell paper. The Bluebell is clearancing now because that is a color of the year and it will only be available, I'm guessing for now, while supplies last. So if you like that color, go pick it up. And here's the Spin Me. There we go. And this is going to be for Mother's Day. Isn't that sweet? I will add some white cardstock in there so it's easier to read what I'm writing. But this is it. This is using the card front spinner thin cut set along with the Rainbow Wishes and the Desserts a la Whirl Stampin' Thin Cut set. It's a great way to play with your stuff and have some fun. I hope you'll give this a try. Have a blessed crafty day, and I'll see you next time.